So I know everyone remembers that in the beginning of March, the Democrats helped pass this COVID relief bill, and it was known as the CARES Act. And really, it wasn't really a CARES Act. It was really just a way to give Wall Street billions of dollars and trillions of dollars. And in fact, what it did was it gave you a bunch of crumbs. It gave you $1,200, and then it gave Wall Street $5 trillion, and they were able to use that to their advantage. And so while you were struggling, while you were waiting for money to come in, while you were losing your job, while you were losing your health care, while your kids and your parents and your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents and your moms and dads, everybody were dying. While everybody was dying in the country because of a crazy pandemic and COVID-19, the Democrats in the House decided to help the Republicans pass a $5 trillion stimulus bill for the rich, and then give you $1,200, and then make you wait in line at food banks, and then make you have to sell everything you ever owned, and then make you lose your house, and then have the sheriff go and decide, I'm going to kick you out of your goddamn houses because court told me to. And that judge who told them to is getting paid good money too. And then what happened was the Democrats passed that, and you still suffered. Okay? You still suffered. And it was negotiated by Chuck Schumer in the Senate. It was also negotiated by Steve Mnuchin, Donald Trump. His administration, Donald Trump didn't do nothing. Come on. And Nancy Pelosi then told her Democrats, you're going to fucking vote for this because I told you to. I don't care if you're progressive AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Raul Grijalva, Pramila Jayapal, Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, which Chuck Schumer said. Bernie Sanders voted for that. They all voted for you to get fucked over and screwed over and said, now we need to pass this for Wall Street, so be a good little fucking girl and vote for this AOC. And AOC said, yes, Mama Bear, absolutely. And look at how she's lying and gaslighting you on behalf of the Democrats. Just for the Democrats, over the COVID relief bill that they passed for Wall Street. Take a look at this. AOC said, funny how you didn't hear Republicans complain about spending other people's money or ask how are we going to pay for it when they insisted on creating a $4 trillion leverage slush fund for their buddies in March. I want you to know something. The Democrats run the House. They are the majority. They get to decide what bills come to the floor. They have to vote on bills like budgets, like money going to the military, which we don't need to be doing anymore because all they're doing is bombing the Middle East and not giving you health care. They have to vote for all of that. If they don't vote, guess what? Republicans don't get their way. So AOC is lying and saying, oh my God, Republicans are complaining because they don't want to pass another stimulus and asking how we're going to pay for it. She's right, but she's also wrong because she helped Nancy Pelosi pass this bill. While you were suffering, while you waited on the phone for 6 to 8 hours a day with 300 to 600 people ahead of you in the lines for unemployment, while you were losing your job, you were losing your healthcare, you were losing your family, you were losing your friends, and businesses closed down, and small businesses closed down, guess what? You have this dumbass of a leader in AOC saying, and don't get excited, right-wingers, because it's your fault too, but AOC saying it was the Republicans' fault. They did it. The Democrats run the House! Not the Republicans. You guys do. It's you guys that vote AOC. You. Maybe AOC, you should have taken a stance. But no, you didn't. You helped Wall Street. Shauna Burley. Shauna Burley says, funny how you didn't complain about how we can't negotiate with Republicans when you voted with them to give corporations $6 trillion. But now that people need money, we can't let Republicans win. Exactly. AOC was being a good little girl, doing whatever Mama Bear Pelosi wanted, and she allowed herself to get on the House floor and vote for this bill that gave trillions and trillions of dollars to Wall Street. Yeah, funny how she didn't complain about that when she helped Republicans give corporations a bailout. That's funny. And then you wonder why I always come on this show and I criticize the Democrats. I don't care how left you are. And then you wonder why you lose power. She's lying to you. She's lying. Here, Rolling Stone, how the COVID-19 bailout gave Wall Street a no-lose casino, while ordinary Americans face record unemployment and loss. The COVID-19 bailout saved the very rich. So that package allowed for corporations to give themselves bonuses, give them money even though they didn't need it, gave the banks money even though they didn't need it because we bailed them out in 2008 and 2009 because of Obama and Bush coming together. Think about that. And, they didn't need it, but we still gave it to them just because. And, AOC and the Democrats gave Wall Street all kinds of money. And then they passed all that money on to their good buddies and the executive roles. And then what did they do? All these businesses, AT&T, Pfizer, everybody. Oh, we're going to lay off a bunch of workers even though we have the money to pay them because they didn't tell me I couldn't do it. And there was a little catch. Oh, you can fire just 10% of your workers in October. But you didn't get money, remember? You didn't get money. That's what AOC did. House passes historic $2 trillion coronavirus economic rescue bill. The House of Representatives passed a bipartisan, and bipartisan means Republicans and Democrats. That's what they're saying. Bipartisan historic stimulus package known as the CARES Act, which contains an unprecedented $2.2 trillion in total financial relief for businesses, public institutions, and individuals hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you're asking yourself, gee, why are individuals listed last in that article? I don't know. Let's see. Businesses. So, Big Pharma, the people who make your drugs. The airline industry. Wall Street. Okay, well, now public institutions, Wall Street, lobbying firms, okay. And you got $1,200 and you were told, shut the fuck up and take that. That's what you were told. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer helped negotiate that and push that through the Congress. And then AOC got on her knees and voted for it and said, I'm so sorry I ever criticized you. Oh, but she said mean things in a publication that nobody reads about Nancy Pelosi. Shut up. Shut up. Now, here's Nancy Pelosi. This is what she said when she was trying to pass this. Whatever concerns we may have and whatever we want to do next, right now, we're going to pass this legislation. What does that mean? From a fellow YouTuber named Jimmy Dore, when Wall Street has a check coming, I don't care what your problem is or what you want to do next. We are going to make sure Wall Street gets its check. And they did. So when you needed help, when you needed to keep your wages, when you needed health care, when you needed a relief package of your own, and you needed UBI, when you needed to keep a roof over your head and keep food on the table for your children, Nancy Pelosi said, I don't care, but right now we're going to help Wall Street. We're going to help them because they're our donors. That's what this is. Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, Chuck Schumer, all these idiots take money from their donors. And even the people like AOC and Bernie who don't take money from these corporate lobbyists and all these other goons, they still voted for it because Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi told them to. And they don't have the balls to stand up for it. To stand up against it and say, I don't know, I want to help my people in Queens. That's what I want to do. What did Pelosi say?
The president does not want to legislate and just want to have his name on a check. That ain't going to happen.
I don't care if the president wanted you to have a check and wanted to put his name on it. I don't care. It's not going to happen. Just because the president wants his fucking name on it, I'm going to deny you aid. I'm going to let you die. I'm going to let you lose your health care. I'm going to let you lose your jobs. I'm going to let you lose your house. I'm going to let the banks go take your house. I'm going to let your landlord kick you out. And in fact, landlords, I'm going to cause you pain too. Oh, you can't afford your medications? I don't give a fuck. That's what Nancy Pelosi is saying to you. That's what she's saying. If you don't believe me, if you don't hear me, if you don't believe me, that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi said to you. Pfft. Jackasses. What jackasses? AOC should be voted out of office for this. Katie Porter, the woman who has that whiteboard and she beats the shit out of corporations and their goons and their owners and does a great job at it, voted for this. And there's, oh my God, they took back their word. Nancy Pelosi negotiated that, and your dumbass voted for it. Jesus. So that's what Nancy Pelosi is saying there. I don't care if you've got problems. Wall Street's got problems. The rich have problems. They're my donors, and they're paying me money. I'm worth $100 million. What are you worth? 50,000? No, that's in my right pocket, bitch. $1.2 million workers file for unemployment amid COVID-19 spikes, pushing the total in crisis to 55 million. That means that people who were out of work now have to file for unemployment because the restaurant they worked at, the gym they worked at, the salon they worked at, the mom and pop shop they worked at, the ice cream shop they worked at had to close down. Why? Because a bunch of PPP loans went out, and then they went to Nancy Pelosi's friends and family, and Trump's friends and family, and Chuck Schumer's friends and family, and they all got rich off of those, millions of dollars that you didn't get as a small business, and then you didn't get as an employee of that small business, because guess what? Nancy Pelosi said, fuck you. AOC said, F you. I'm going to vote for this because I'm going to be a good little girl and vote for this shit. All the progressives did. So AOC needs to stop lying. And for those of you that love AOC, I like her just because she doesn't take corporate money. But what difference does it fucking make? She voted for the government surveillance state, which allows the government to illegally spy on you. Ooh, war on terror. Fuck you. That's not why you're doing it. She voted for that. She voted for Trump's military budgets. Oh, but we need to do Medicare for all. We don't need Medicare for all. And you didn't vote for that. You voted for a package that included money for Wall Street. That's what you voted for. So AOC didn't stand up and say, whoa, hold on. I wanna stand up here and say, I don't think we should be voting on this, and if we are, we should be taking a recorded vote, and we should know exactly who voted for this, because this is unprecedented that we're voting for the largest upward transfer of wealth in the fucking human race, and nobody's gonna fess up. Wow. Bravo. So I just want to say, I'm not voting for this shit because it doesn't give Medicare for all, doesn't give UBI, doesn't give hazard pay, doesn't raise the minimum wage. It only helps the fucking rich. And if we are all going to vote for it, if I'm going to be the only one not going to vote for it in the Democratic Party, how about this? And she didn't do this, and no progressive did. I'm sorry. Let's record the vote. Let's record it. Let's see which one of you jackasses is going to screw over your constituents, and then we'll use that in political ads. But Thomas Massey, Republican from Kentucky. Now, I don't like the Republican Party, but this guy was brave enough to go against his own party and the Democratic Party, including AOC, and did what AOC should have been doing. Look.
Mr. Speaker.
For what purposes, gentlemen, seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I came here to make sure our republic doesn't die by unanimous consent in an empty chamber, and I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise and remain standing until counted. An insufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is refused.
Mr. Speaker.
Is the gentleman recognized?
I object on the basis that a quorum is not present and make a point of order that a quorum is not present.
The chair will count for a quorum. Counted for a quorum is present. The motion is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Now you know why they were cheering. It's because, yay, I'm going to get a lobbyist job. I'm going to be on K Street, which is the lobbyist, street. You have Wall Street and you have K Street. I'm going to be on K Street. I'm going to have a money train coming to me for the rest of my life for giving the rich $5 trillion. Yay! Oh, I have constituents. At least you got unemployment insurance that ran out on July 31st, but these $5 trillion, the rich still have them. They still get to keep them. You lost your unemployment because I voted for that. I didn't want you to have it. That's why they're cheering. That's why. So because you don't get money, because they're cheering, because they're going to get a bunch of lobbying jobs and jobs in the war industry and jobs in the pharmaceutical industry, which are the prescription drugs, because they're going to get all those nice jobs and money coming to them for the rest of their fucking lives, they screwed you over. And AOC is lying for Democrats over the COVID bill. Over COVID-19 bailout. That's what she's... And the bailout for the corporations. Because you're still suffering. You are. Not them. And now AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Raul Grijalva, Ro Khanna, and even Pramila Jayapal and Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Katie Porter, all of them voted for this. So you can thank them and say, thank you, Bernie, thank you, Warren, thank you, everybody, for voting for this. Thank you, Liz. I really appreciate it. Bravo. I'm still suffering. I'm probably going to die from COVID. I'm probably going to lose my health care. I'm going to lose my job. I can't provide for my family, but bravo. What cowards we have in the Democratic Party.